Hello, everyone. Carlos Flores, our cat Freddy, back on basics. Today, I'm sorry, but today we're going to talk about a story from my childhood that has actually impacted me my entire life in a positive way. And so, before we start, don't forget to subscribe to Back on Basics YouTube channel. Hit the notification button so that you'll be able to get notifications when new videos come on. Hit the like button as well, so that way you can make sure that you like this video. And yeah, if you have any comments or if you have any topics, I say this every single time, just let me know, and I'll be happy to in the comments section below, or any other videos, or via Facebook or via Instagram. Just let me know, and I'll be happy to do a video on the topic that you're asking for. So again, this is one of my stories, and actually, I did videos on stories on how when I got here, and then before during the Civil War, and how that has actually shaped me who I am. Well, this story is fresh right after we came to the United States. My father came in a year before because he came here so that way he can start working, or he can save money, so that way he can bring the rest of us here to the United States. So this was right around 1983. And so my mom, my younger brother, and myself, we actually came to the United States right around January 1983, which is amazing because things were so different than what they are today. They were so different, and so we lived with my uncle's family for a little bit, and then we moved out to a place where we can barely afford. I mean, it was interesting because my brother was less than a year old at that time, and he would sleep with my parents, so that way they had a bed, and we bought a kind of like a little bed, so that way I could sleep, and so it was an interesting place. This was in excuse me, this was in Daly City, and Daly City is right next to San Francisco for some of those that are not familiar with that city. And I mean, it was filled with rats. It was filled with cockroaches. It was filled with spiders. I mean, it was like we were always constantly looking for those things, and they were there. And so, but you know what? It was our own place. We rented it, and so we were by ourselves, and we were able to take care of each other. So, um, so right around that time, Daly City, California, I actually ended up getting enrolled at George Washington Elementary School. I love that school. Really good school. I haven't been there. Maybe I'll do a video uh, if when I visit George Washington Elementary, and then I'll post that so that way all of you can see. I'm thinking of doing a video for each of the schools that I went, and kind of like share with you my perspectives and some of the stories in each of the schools. So, George Washington Elementary. I came in zero English, right? Spanish, nothing else. The only word that I remember is because I used to laugh at my dad, because my dad's a jokester, and so he would say the only word that I know in English. This was in El Salvador. The only word that I know in English is how to say pencil, right? And that was the only thing, and we would laugh and laugh and laugh because that's what he said. That's all I know. I'm gonna go to the United States, and all I know is to say pencil. And it was interesting. So, so when I started to go to school, the the school administration actually designated me as a sheltered student. So here's what it is. So let's fast forward to today. Today, a sheltered student would be called an English learner. Uh, language learner, an ELL student. And so back then, there wasn't ELL or English language learner services. So it was called shelter. I was assigned a fifth grade class because this was the fifth grade. But I was there maybe not even just to recess and a little bit at the end of the day. So I actually was in some not cubicles, but temporary classrooms towards the other side of the school where there was a sheltered class that was made for 6 to 8 of us. So 6 to 8 of us would go there at the beginning of school. We would go out for recess. We would go out for lunch, and then we would be there for the whole day, 5 days a week. It was something that hindsight, it built who I am, and it built my passion for reading, my passion for writing, and then my passion for just looking at things from different perspectives. So my teacher, her name was Miss Catubig, which I haven't seen since the fifth grade. I hope that I could visit her at some point. I know it's been a while back. If not, then I just want to tell the family of Miss Catubig that she made a huge impact in my life. She was the one who told me. She would say it over and over and over again. She would say, Carlos, you need to learn how to pronounce, how to enunciate, how to utilize the English language to your advantage. She was the one who would repeatedly would teach all 8 of us how to recognize phonemes, sight words. There were so many things. We would later on we would go over idioms, because those were the things, right? Idioms are the things that do not fit in there. They're probably words that, sometimes they're saying, sometimes there's different kind of things, but they don't fit nicely with the other English words. And so we would be there 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from early in the morning, which was around 8:15, 8:30, till the last bell. And then I would go home. And so it was an experience. I actually got to know all 8 of the people, my classmates, really well. And so we would repetition. Miss Catubig she loved order. She loved attention to detail. She loved repetition. She loved practicing. So in 1983, when there was no ELL work, there was nothing else, Miss Catubig and another teacher who was looking at kids in another grade, they were the standard bearer for today's English language learner standards. She was. Without her, I wouldn't be able to enunciate or talk or have this love of learning about the language. Miss Catubig, you made a big difference in my life. As a matter of fact, because of Miss Catubig and another teacher in the junior high school, which I will make a video about her later on, they were able to guide me, right? Directly and indirectly, they were able to guide me, so that way I learned another language, which is French. Remember in another video I said I can probably hold my own speaking French. But at the same time, if it wasn't for the foundation that I received from Miss Catubig in the 5th grade, everything else wouldn't have gone the way that it did. And that's, to me, that's even more important than money, even more important than other things that I didn't have. I mean, we were poor. We were living in a small place in the basement in Daly City. But at that time, I didn't realize it. But the 5th grade was a pivotal year for me because it taught me a lot of things that later on, it would, it dawned on me that if it wasn't for that foundation, I wouldn't be where I am today. So again, Ms. Catubig, thank you. You are the one who put everything together for me. And I am very, very appreciative of everything that you did. And I know that you did that for all 8 of us, but I was able to take what you taught me. And as I moved on from school to higher education, to college, to universities, to teaching, and now to special ed, you built that foundation that I can always go back on and teach that same way with my students. So thank you. Another aspect that took place, and I've said it in another video, is that parents decided to hold me back a 2nd year in 5th grade. At that time, I was not the happiest person, but thinking when I went to junior high, I actually realized that that 2nd year of 5th grade, again with Miss Catubig, both grades, morning to afternoon, 5 days a week for the whole year. So 2 years of sheltered class was the most important foundational thing for me. And so later on in junior high school, I saw my peers struggle because they weren't in a sheltered class. They were in a bilingual class, which was the next iteration of learning English from people that come from other countries. Bilingual classes, to be honest with you, were okay, but it had to be somebody that knew how to provide the curriculum both in English and in Spanish or in another language. But a lot of the times people could not. And so they fell back on either predominantly English, which people wouldn't understand, or predominantly in their native language, which people would understand, but they wouldn't get the tidbits. They wouldn't get the specific idioms, the English idioms. They wouldn't get the specific parts of the literature that told them why George Washington did what he did, why Abraham Lincoln did what he did, why Martin Luther King did what he did. It wasn't the same. And so, bilingual courses started out when I was in junior high, and it went through high school for me. And to be honest with you, I think those type of classes are not the best for somebody who's learning how to speak the English language. But again, right, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying anything else. I'm just giving you my opinion. So again, going back, so two years of 5th grade in a sheltered class helped me a lot, tremendously. It made a difference in how I learned the English language. It rewired the way that I did to the point that I think it increased my mental capacity of what things I could remember and what things I couldn't remember. And so it's one of those things that I wanted to make this video in respect and homage, and to thank Mrs. Catubig, because again, without her, I wouldn't be where I was, or I wouldn't be where I am right now. And I've struggled, and I've started career after career after career. But you know what? I would always go back to the foundation. And that foundation, one of the teachers that helped me was Miss Catubig. She was the first one that helped me and gave me foundational strategies so that way I can always go back to the basics. And again, Miss Catubig, and later on in another video, Miss Chestnut from junior high school, and then later on in another video, Mr. Franco from Richmond High School. Those three teachers are the ones who taught me and foster in me that whenever things are not working the way that they work, we go back on basics. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story. If anybody knows Miss Catubig or her family, please share this video. Again, I'll put it out there so that way people can see again one of my foundational teachers, one of three foundational teachers that have helped me a great deal, and it's something that's very important to me. So thank you for listening to my story. Carlos Flores, Back on Basics. Subscribe to Back on Basics YouTube channel. Hit the notification button to get whenever I do a video. Hit the like button as well. And again, thank you for listening. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.